We only had one dress rehearsal. The thing that we have with our school is that we get the first 24 hours for free, and we could break up the hours how many times we want, but it worked out so that we really didn't have enough time in the auditorium. And the biggest issue was these last few months, we've been practicing in a cluttered school hallway. Practicing and rehearsing in a school hallway is so much different than practicing on stage. The first time we went on stage, it was a mess.
With all the things that has happened just to put on the play, like, it's been one thing after another. So the fact that we've been able to keep going and not give up has just been really inspiring and motivating.
Although before, where it would be like, the people who were talking, they were the focal point. Oh my gosh, this looks good, we're doing great. There'd still be people in the background not knowing really what to do. That cluttered hallway stuff, their actions weren't as obvious as they would be on stage. So that freaked us out a bit, that a week before the show, things weren't working out and it looked awkward and people were struggling.
We've made things our own. I think there's just a lot of differences that we've made to make it original. Definitely the singing part. I can't recall any other show where they've brought in a mandolin. Generally the shows I've seen have been like, it's all the fairies like dancing and doing their own thing and singing, and not everybody felt comfortable singing, so I stepped up to the plate and was just like, I'll do it. So I'm the only one singing, and I've never seen any other show like that.
Yeah, during my scene with the fairies, one of the fairies, Milana, she does this rendition of the bit where the fairies sing to me, and Jen Bottom is playing mandolin in the background, and I think that's really cool. I think she's like me because I can be a little bit imperious and bossy too sometimes. Well, I'd love to have just some of her elegance and glamour, but I think that's actually one of the ways that she's not like me. I do not have a troupe of minions, so that's another way that she's not like me.
We couldn't find a better Titania. She's so, her movements, her mannerisms are so flowy and elegant.
She has a lot of really long roundabout monologues that it's difficult to make seem relevant and cohesive and interesting, especially to people who are kind of confused by what they're about.
Well, I have two characters. I'm a fairy and I'm a player. Probably the hardest thing that has been for me is almost having to be two places at once. Like, we've had to make changes in the sense of a scene where I may have had to be on stage, I have to be getting into my next character, and I think maybe altering between a fairy and a dude might be kind of interesting.
I wouldn't say it's very challenging just because I relate to Snout's character. He's pretty nervous and anxious, and I'm generally pretty nervous and anxious in real life, so I'm really excited to do it. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it.
Most difficult would probably be just the overall stress of, hey, you're in like 4 different scenes. You may not have a lot of lines, but all eyes are going to be on you when you're on, because they know who you are. They know what you do. Most people that come to see this have already read the book.
He showed up to us at audition as Puck, and he looks like Puck. We saw him and we were like, yep, here's our Puck. He was perfect. He wasn't afraid to be mischievous and goofy, Some people have a hard time doing that.
Because they've read the book, they know that I am this character that's like, I'm going to cause and fix all the problems I create. And just that stress of I'm going to be in most of it. But then it's also taken off every time I think about it, because I get to be way more myself than I ever get to be as Puck. It's so fun to just be like, I will show you how much I can do this thing, and I can just be myself. Even though I'm having to read lines from Shakespeare, I get to say it in my own voice. I get to act myself when I do these things, and it brightens my day. I'm Puck, and I embody that.
He emulates Puck in every way he can, even before the show starts, and just in general, his enthusiasm, his nature, it's pretty much Puck.
He does his character very easily. He's very natural with it, and it doesn't look like he's like very stiff or anything, or like acting. It just kind of looks like it's him.
As an Oberon, I like understanding what they're saying, and Jack personally talks a little too fast. But aside from that, because he's also got a lot of stress, he's gotten better with it.
Ryan plays Puck, and he's very annoying, but his character's also annoying, so it's kind of easy to work with it, which means I can hit him, which makes it very simple.
He's been patient with me, as I can be me.
It's not even acting, it's just actual, like, fighting.
One of my characters is Hippolyta, and I am the fiancé slash newlywed to Theseus. I'm just kind of there to, like, I guess, keep Theseus in check, kind of. I tend to do that. I get really, really invested in certain characters, and I'm not going to say, like, method acting, because I definitely don't do that, but I get, like, super invested in the characters, and I look wherever I can for opportunities to see how a character would react to something, and I look how other people have portrayed it, and I just, like, I try to relate myself to the character. I try to put myself, like, into the character's shoes.
My character is Theseus. He is the Grand Duke of Athens. Basically, he's there to tell Hermia her choices in life and what she can use to, if she wants to, like, marry, because she has a problem with Lysander and Demetrius and her father not approving, and that's how the entire play begins, basically.
A lot of fun stuff has been come up with and has been brought to the table by the people taking part, and I think the characters that I play are fun.
We were all, like, waiting for the players to, like, get their blocking down and all their lines finished, and it's just been so fun to sit there with all of them and be, like talking in character to each other. But we've had, like, little inside jokes, like, Theseus is just so tired of everything that's happening, like, can the play be over yet, please? And then Hippolyta will just be like, Theseus, no, we talked about this. Hippolyta's basically controlling Theseus like he's a 5-year-old in a candy store. The hardest part is, for me, it's memorizing all of the lines, of course, but bringing it to life is very difficult because you want to portray the character well, and you want to not seem like you don't know what you're doing.
I think that voice is very important in acting style. Voice, motivation, movement. Movement's very important in acting. Like, it's not just saying something, it's showing something.
Acting can be fun, and it can be stressful. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into just everything you do here, and personally, me trying to get a couple of my bigger lines down was probably the most painful thing, and I am going to be honest, I would hate to have the part of Oberon or Titania or Theseus, because they have paragraph after paragraph. I could never in my life memorize that.
Because of, like, the language that's used in the original writing, it's kind of difficult for, like, people from 2018 to, like, oh, what does this all mean? I think that's really rough, but we've done a good job on that, I think.
Hopefully they'll be mulling over the multiple layers of this production. Like, obviously there's the first layer where, oh my gosh, there's 3 love stories going on, and they're cute, and they all end up well. But then there's definitely a second layer about, like, the social implications of Shakespeare's time, and there's a lot of Greek mythology. You could end up thinking about, like, Greek society. And there's also sort of a strange and dark commentary on the whole nature of romantic relationships in this. So hopefully people will be thinking of at least one of those things.